Woo! Good morning, everybody out there. Hold on, I did it again. Woo! Good morning, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere this is going to be going live or a snippet thereof. Welcome to the broadcast. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions. Welcome to the show, everybody. So, as the title implies, when you get the funk, what do you do? What do you do? How do you break out of your funk? What what causes your funk? Is it people? Is it things? Is it animals? Is it what is it that causes your funk? And what do you do? What do you do when you get out of it? When I get into, when I get into a funk, I usually go out in the yard and destroy stuff. Push my body past the breaking point and keep on going. Sounds like a bodybuilder or something, but I'm not a bodybuilder. Trust me. So what do you do when you get into a funk? Um, me, I work on artwork. I will, no matter what kind of artwork it is, painting, drawing, working on the computer, those type things. Or, like I said, I'll go outside and destroy stuff, chop wood for a very, very long time. Mr. Roy Joe Twilight Bradley Jr. is in the house. Welcome him to the show, everybody. So, good morning, everybody, and hopefully you all are doing great out there. Hopefully you're all going to get some sleep. Today is a big day for us. We are going to celebrate Mother's Day a little early with her mother this morning, or this today. And my mother stuff is going to be late, and I already told her that. So um, I'm a bad son. Just beat me with a wet noodle. But yeah, we're going out to the Steampunk Festival today, and we're not going to rush. It's going to be a leisurely time. We're going to take her to lunch or an early dinner. We're not sure just yet how we're doing it yet. We're just going to play it by ear. But we might go eat first and then go out to the Steampunk Festival. And then from the Steampunk Festival, we'll see where it goes from there. Steampunk Festival is in Van Buren, Arkansas, downtown. They block off the entire downtown. And it's just a bunch of vendors and events happening and things of that nature. If you've never been to a steampunk festival and it's not up your alley, I get it. It's not for everybody. It is when steam and technology mesh together. So you got the old world and the new world meshing together. So you got mecha type stuff. You got gears and sprockets, as arms and on hats and shirts and stuff like that, or clothing. Because you got Victorian clothing coming into the modern realm is what it's transitioning into. But it's very interesting stuff. And there was a whole comic book series about it. In fact, aptly titled Steampunk by Image Comics back in the day. Of course, once again, like we talked about on one of my other shows, that it is a bunch of scantily clad females that are donning those outfits. Um, bum, bum, bum. I'm going to close you. I'm going to open you. Would you catch up to me, you stupid program? There we go. Now we're dragging with some heat. OBS has got to get better. It really, really does. I hate how it lags. But I'm going to change that. I'm going to be paying a monthly subscription soon. I was already going to do it, but it's just like, just wait. Just wait. So that way, I can be talking on one platform, no matter what it is, and it's spreading out, branching out into all those other virtual realities that you like. This is where I should have segued in with some like disco music and shit, but you know, I'm not that tech savvy sometimes. But good morning, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. We are, you know, talking about when you're in a funk. What do you do? How do you get out of your funk? Do you go eat a bacon cheeseburger, Mr. Roy, Joe, Twilight, Bradley Jr., or do you sit inside your house looking from behind the curtain at your neighbors, all creepy like, closing the curtain? Tell me what you guys do when you get in a funk. Talk to me, people. Talk to me. But no, the Steampunk Festival is going to be fun. I'm looking for a specific item, possibly a couple. We'll see what happens when we get there. Hopefully, I can find what I'm looking for. Hopefully, it's there. Um, I'm in reality, I need a couple of different items, but we'll see. It depends on the prices too, because at these festivals, people break out their good stuff, and it costs a pretty penny sometimes to get some things. So next Sunday, Monday, the 12th, we will do the review for the Antarctic Press Influencer Initiative, which is Vampire Ninja Ono 1 and 2. So we'll be doing two books. Um, and again, I'll probably record it on Sunday and go ahead and dump it out there. And we'll do a little talk and review on it on Monday. I'm just trying to see what it's about here. Da, da, da. And let's see. Hopefully he gets me a list. I asked him for some things. Where's the rest of my question? Hmm, I'll have to ask again. Okay. All good. All goody good. So if you haven't checked out my other channels, please go do so. You can visit them up here. You can go to my website, and from there, from the website, you can go to my socials, and you can check out all my other channels: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you are here on TikTok right now. Like I said, when I get into a funk, I go out, destroy stuff, chop up firewood, um, go build something, go demolish a building. We dismantled an entire building last night, and just to make room for the geese. And from there, uh, because we're noticing our other turkey that did not have a broken leg, his leg is acting like it's starting to turn to the left itself, and it just like we understand he's got some sores on his feet from being in there with the ducks or the geese, because the geese keep the water splashed everywhere in the little brooder, and so we're going to end up cleaning that out and making it habitable for just him alone. And from there, yeah, we do all kinds of stuff here: homestead, artwork, small engine repair. We both have a motorcycle that we're going to be working on. My battery actually comes in on Thursday. We got to get her battery ordered so she can start getting it put back together. But we're waiting on mainly for her bike is some carburetor parts. So um, that's what the biggest majority of wait time has been, because we've ordered parts for it before, but they suck. They don't fit her carburetor like they said they would, you know. And so now we've been in the wait stage with it. She's procrastinated on it long enough, and we went down to the Steel Horse Rally and looked at all the cool bikes and rat rods and watched everybody riding around. It's just like, you know what, we need to get our bikes up and running. Now I had bought my bike that same day, and it's a big bike. I'm gonna start working out. It's a Honda Goldwing uh, GL 1000. If you don't know what that means, it's a 1000 cc, which means it's 1,000 horsepower. So that's a lot of bike. It's a lot of bike. The engine on it is is massive. So And sometimes when you get in a funk, you buy stuff, don't you? That's why Roy Joe Bradley Twilight Jr. always goes down and gets him a bacon cheeseburger from Brahms. Me, I go out there and get me a cool cowl. Bum bum bum! Right there. Books a Million. These cowls are pretty awesome. It is from The Dark Knight Returns, but it's very cool. It sits on a stand, and you display it. I haven't torn it out of the box yet. I don't know if I will. I like it in the box, but I would like it outside the box too. But no, sometimes you spend a little money when you get into a funk, but don't do that all the time. You can get yourself into trouble if you do. Hopefully, you guys have savings accounts out there that you don't dip into and all that good stuff. Hopefully, they give a better interest rate. I started a new savings account in my bank and dropped quite a bit of money into it, and was noticing the interest rate on it sucked ass, big time. It was like 0.01%. I start a savings account in Cash App. I get a better rate. What's up with that? I get a 1.5% over there, and I only get a 0.01% in my own bank. What the fuck? Come on, let's get real here. You're an actual institution. You should have a 1.5 to 2 percent interest rate on your savings account, not a 0.01%. What the hell is that? Ooh, I get a half a penny, every month that my money's sitting in there. Wow. Let me go to the Bahamas on that interest. But, have multiple savings accounts running around. Cushions. Cushions, man. Cushions. Thank you for the likes, shares, and follows. And please, if you haven't, please share this out there so other people can come out and enjoy the broadcast as well. We don't want anybody to miss anything good or crucial that could have helped them or mindless entertainment, right? Sometimes. But no, I'm still trying to get my 3D printer to do what I want it to do. I've only had one semi successful print, and that was hello out there, Britt. Welcome to the show. I've only had one semi successful print, and that is of Mr. Captain Spaulding here. He's the only semi successful print I really had because even my stands for action figures um, kind of sucked it up a little bit. And I'll show you what I mean. I got some decent. Well, let me find one of the good ones. I'll show you. And they're hard to come by because I don't know what the hell just happened with them. They're still not great by any stretch of the imagination, but they'll do for what I need them here. Okay, this is one of the better ones, but as you can see, it's still not completely flat. It kind of skewed it up just a little bit in there. You can kind of see how off kilter it is just a little bit. But then you get some that went real off kilter. As you can see how they stair stepped in there really bad. Right there. So it's still not printing exactly the way I want it. I've got some parts on the way. And just like my little gargoyle here, the tail is supposed to be up here, coming off his ass, not coming out of the piece that he's sitting on. And it was supposed to have wings in there, something like this, coming in there as well. But it printed separate for the most part when it printed. And then everything else I printed, I did get one semi-successful print of the little bunny. You can see where I had to fix her arm right there, and then her heel down here. And then I had to do some glue spots right here and over here to keep it all together nice and tight. Um, but for the most part, it's doing okay. It's just not printing the way I want it to. I've got an unsuccessful print over here that I was doing for her mother, and Banks are closing in Georgia. I don't mind that 100%. Banks are the biggest crook organization in the world. Um, and, they rob us always to Sunday. Just like, what kind of an interest rate is a 0.01% in a savings account? You know, when everybody is going to cryptocurrency, when everybody is going to online banking, when everybody is going to all these banks that give you better rates than the actual brick and mortar building, you know, I can understand how banks are closing, and I don't mind it unless you work in a bank, and I'm sorry that you're losing your job. That's the only heartbreak I see. But like in our town, we have 20 different banks, and they open up a new bank all the fucking time. It's just like, how many banks do you need? How many ways do you need to get screwed by a bank that says, "Oh, we have better rates over here. Oh, we have better rates over here. No, come to us. Come to us, and we will take care of you." No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't take care of you at all. But I'm still trying to get my printer to do what I want it to do. You know, and so it's frustrating. That puts me in a funk. Because I want to do all these great things, and I was trying to do some things for both mothers for Mother's Day with it, and it was not cooperating. It wasn't having it. It said, "Up yours, buddy." Man, my voice is not working today. But how do you get out of your funk? Whenever you get down, or get depressed, or get in that funky mood that just sets the negative vibes, how do you get out of yours? Like I said, mine is destroying firewood, chopping firewood, literally hand chopping it. I don't use the little splitter and log splitter and all that crap. I beat that stump senseless until I get at least four, five, six pieces out of that piece of wood, that log, and then I'll go build something and end up like yesterday, cuts all over myself, cuts all over myself, cuts on my legs, splinters, metal shavings, all kinds of stuff in my hands. All that goody good stuff. It just makes me feel more alive to bleed. Um, and I can't work in the yard um, and not be uninjured. Let's just put it that way. That's just how hard I go whenever I'm out working in the yard. Because if you're not bleeding when you come out of the yard, did you really work? Even when I mow the lawn, I usually end up bleeding somehow, some form, fashion, or another. And it's just like, well, another day in paradise because, you know, you worked in the yard. You see blood everywhere. It's not like I chop a finger off or, gouge myself beyond repair or anything like that. It's just, I get scratched up. I get cut up. You know, I put a drill bit in my finger at least once, when I'm working with the drill. If I don't move my fingers out of the way fast enough, those type of things. I've had countless injuries where the bit has punctured my finger, several different places from how I hold the screw. Yes, I know some of them have the magnetic tips that have the little sheath around it, and you just put it in there and go. But I don't do that. I don't use those little magnetic tips like that. I just like to bleed. Is my only uh, thoughts on it all. So this is my script for the voiceover for the Power Rangers Metallic Legacy. Episode 1. It is I don't know how many episodes they've got in it, but I'm just in episode 1 as the voice of Champ, one of the bad guys that the Power Rangers get to face. And My character doesn't make it into episode 2. Let's just put it that way. So if you know, you know. But no, seriously, it's good. It's fun. It stretches that amount of things that we didn't think we could do before. Because I know there's been actors and things that have started around my age. Okay. And I never thought this is where I would be in life is doing voiceovers or doing acting gigs, here and there. But here I am, 53 years old and I'm doing it. I started a few years back. My first movie was Masquerade. I was an EMT helping the main character. Um, and then from there, I was another EMT in another movie called Enthralled, which is fixing to hit the shelves. They've done a screening already of it, and they're getting ready to do another screening of it. Um, and then from there, where do I go? It's just like I'm not going to be sought after for those two roles. But hopefully with this voice acting thing, I'll be able to do a little more. Just because that is, that's a little more up my forte. Because there's been a lot of people that said, "Hey, you really need to get into voice actor or a radio gig." And it's just like, well, I appreciate that, and I'm glad I've got the voice for it because I obviously don't have the face for it. If you're telling me to be behind a non-lens area with just your voice, just get your voice out there and listen, man. But no, it's been fun. It's been a fun ride. Uh, Getting to act, with the voiceover roles because you still act. You still put that emotion. You still put those emotions in there. Whatever you're reading for because you don't just want it to come out like he got hit by a truck. That was kind of cool. Because where's the fun in that? It just sounds so dry, so very boring, if you will. But no, you get in there, you influx, you actually act what that character's doing, what is happening in that scene, and you become that character for just a brief moment. And what do I think happened to Tower 7? I'm not sure what Tower 7 is. What is Tower 7? You're going to have to explain that one to me. I don't know if that's a video game. I don't know if it's a actual Tower 7, like as in a oil tower, or, you know, is it from a movie? I'm a little behind the times on that one. Jay Mosey? I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know. I wasn't there. You can see the news reports and things like that, but what's your take on that on Tower 7, the third tower that fell? That's that. Like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know. I just watched the news like everybody else. Nobody knows. It's so crazy. No, I get that. I mean, there's things out there that we may never know. I mean, they said they were going to release all these documentations from Martin Luther King, JFK, Epstein, so on and so forth. But did they give us the real information? You know, or is it just something that they had sitting around that was a theory of what happened? This is what happened. Those different type of things. Bro, how did you get into voice acting? I'd love to do stuff like that. Well, it just was happenstance. I follow so many different artists and things like that on, and not just artists, but movie producers and actors and actresses and and things like that on Facebook and Instagram. That one thing led to another, and I got hooked up with a guy out there that is a local producer, and he's in Atlanta, Georgia, and we got to chit chatting back and forth, and I actually auditioned for one of their roles, and from there, I didn't think I actually got it, but about 2 months later, I get an email or a message. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was an email. It was like, "Hey, you got the role of Champ. I'm going to be sending you the script, and from there, just read the role as you want." Yes, right time, right place. You're correct. I mean, and that's how it happens sometimes. Um, and the people I meet uh, lends itself into those categories and areas. You know, so if you want to start doing voice acting, they say it's best to go and become a thespian and act first on the small stage of life. No, I'm just kidding. They say that it's best to get into acting, honestly, um, because like I was saying at the top of the show, you are still acting. You're still portraying the emotions, the movements that character is doing. But if you want into that type of stuff, that's the people you need to surround yourself with. And then if they ever have the opening or opportunity, like this group did, that was looking for voice actors, you need to find those audition spots that you can say, "Hey, I'd like to audition for this. I'd like to audition for that. I want to write season 16 of Supernatural." Bro, I have so much I'd love to do. So many ideas. Just Keaton, that's cool. That's very awesome. Those are the hopes and dreams that you want to keep elevated inside yourself, because you know you're going to have your negative people that are going to tell you that's not going to be worthwhile, that's not going to be this, that's not going to happen, it's not going to do that. Do not listen to those. Don't even listen to the voices in your head some days that tell you it's never going to happen. That season 16 could be a fan film, and you could do it. You know, get you some people together and things like that. Start with a fan film would be my suggestion. Um, because that's how a lot of these local producers that I work with got started. They started a fan film of some sort, like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Batman. Uh, the list goes on and on. What they started a fan film of, and it just took their career from here and then catapulted them, you know, to bigger and better things, to where they're winning awards for their movies. Like Jason Pitts, who I'm working with on a regular basis. I've done a bunch of his props, and I've done artwork for his stuff, and I've done, you know, the covers for his DVDs and different things. And it's just hard to keep that drive. 34 and 4 kids, you know, that's awesome. Dude, when I started out, of course, I didn't have 4 kids. I only had three. My son passed away back in 2009 at 17. And, and you know, at that time, I didn't think I was going to be doing half the stuff that I'm doing now. I appreciate it. The pain's still there, you know, but you just handle things differently. Um, because we're reaching up to close to 10 years of him being gone, you know, from 2009 to 2029, you know, which is just right around the corner in reality. Yeah, but do not let that hold you back. If you want to do Supernatural season 16, start writing it now. You're still young, and the 34 is not. I know that seems like the end all be all age or something like that. I'm 53. Okay, I'll be 54 in a few months. Not a few. It's still several months down the road, but in September. But you know, I never thought that I would be doing voice acting. Even though a lot of people have told me that my voice is good for that, or to be on the radio, or to be doing commercials for those type of things. But I never listened because, well, that's not my forte. Well, that's not who I am. That's you know, do I want to act? As a young man, I thought about acting at one point in time or another. No, 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 I get it. It totally discourages you in the moment. I've been discouraged so many times that, you know, that's why I put my pen and paper down for 5 years. Because my second ex-wife discouraged uh, the art industry, if you will. There's no money in it. You won't be bringing home money to pay the bills. You won't be doing this. You won't be doing that. You know, you have to go get a job. You have to go work 16 hours a day just to survive. You know, and I get it. You've got kids to feed. You've got mouths to feed at the house. I totally understand that, just Keaton. And but do not get discouraged. I promise you, it will be more fulfilling if you start the writing process now. And I don't know if getting equipment to do production is hard enough for a movie, or even a fan film, because most people now are using all the software off their phone to do fan films with. Now you get the other ones that step it up and know people and say, "Hey, come together, let's do this. I know you've got the camera, the 4K or 10K camera. Bring it. I know you've got sound equipment. Bring it with your boom mic and all that stuff. And we're going to start a fan film." And then they know somebody that can do all the editing to their videos and things like that. Um, does it cost money? Of course it does. You know, that's why if you're going to start now and take a little bit of, if you can, some money and set it aside. Put it into a savings account that never gets touched. And at that point in time, hopefully you get a better interest rate than my bank. Like I said, 0.01%. After I dropped a pretty penny into my savings account, um, it's a little ridiculous to get a 0.01% on your investment. Whenever I get a better investment at this other spot that's not even technically a bank. You know, and but do not let those thoughts sink into your head. And even when I was in the military, you know, you get those thoughts that you're not coming back from this deployment. You're not uh, coming back out of this firefight. This IED just did you in. Those type things. And but we survived. We might have scrambled our eggs in our head, by the IED blast and things of that nature. But um, it's like the human was destined for greater things. They were not destined to just go to work for somebody else, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, or more, depending on what job you have. That was not the end all be all that the American race was supposed to be. But that's what we've turned it into, because we've got to have that money. We've got to have that house. We've got to have that new car. We've got to keep up with this guy. We've got to keep up with that girl. We've got to keep up with what this influencer is saying. And we all let that come into our minds. And that's our guiding thoughts, you know. And I see it all the time, especially when I'm looking at different people on TikTok, or the reels on Facebook, or just even posts on Facebook. It's just like so many people are driven for the mighty dollar or the mighty crypto coin that, oh my god, I've got to work 10 jobs just to finance all this. And it's just like, if you've got a wife, a husband, boyfriend, or girlfriend, and you're working all the time, where is that quality time with your family at Some people don't ever get it. I mean, hell, sometimes the rich don't even see their kids ever. They leave them with a nanny, you know, on a regular basis, and they see their kids in passing, between flights or whatever. And you see movies about it all the time. The kids neglected. They act out when they get older. They kill their parents. Those type of things. It's just like, why have we become such a money greedy society? Let's all move to Alaska, where the barter system, the barter system is alive and strong in Alaska. They actually help each other there. Let that sink in. Always wanted to be there. I have a half sister that lives there, and will it work better than currency? What, crypto coin? No. In my opinion, no. But that's every global agency's dream, is to get everybody away from actual money so that they can control everything. Um, but that's just my thoughts on that. And I don't believe in the cryptocurrency dream. Uh, I mean, can you afford one piece of crypto right now? At what is the going price, like $40,000 for one piece of crypto or something like that? I mean, uh, I can't drop that kind of money on one crypto coin. And let me go own a 0.01% share of crypto. Woohoo! I'm rich now. I know you can get into cheaper crypto and things like that, but are they going to take off like Bitcoin and things like that? Um, Hindsight's 2020. You know, just like, if I could go back in a time machine, I would go to my younger self with a notebook. Of all the stuff that you need to invest in, you need to shoot for, even if it isn't even invented yet. Just keep watch for these, and I would be a trillionaire today. You know, because I would have been like, "Hey, parents, you need to invest in Walmart stocks now. You need to invest in Yahoo or AOL or all this stuff. Early on, because back in the early 70s, 80s, and early 90s, Walmart stock used to split on a regular basis, which meant more money was happening from it. Your piece of investment kept growing, kept splitting, and then boom, all of a sudden it stopped. That's how a lot of people got wealthy off of Walmart back in the early days, was because of how many times that stock kept splitting, and it just kept going up and up and up and up, and then every time it would split, there was more investment right there. But then all of a sudden, you can barely get it to get past $100 now. So it's never going to split again, and it's a sad state of affairs to have it happen. So if you are playing the stock market, which this isn't the show for that, but if you are playing the stock market, do your research. What is going up? What is coming down? If it's coming down, why is it coming down? And then get to a point where, if it's low enough, buy. And then from there, watch it. And when it gets to a certain point where it's sitting after you've bought 20, 30 stocks in it at, $2 a stock. And then once it gets up to $75 a shot and you want to dump some of it, you just made a good investment. Because you just bought it for $2 a stock, it just got up to $75 a stock, and you sell 10 of those shares. You do the math at 10 times 75. You know, and you see that all the time with people that are doing live streams of their stock market stuff and things like that, and it's just like everybody's 401k lost money because of everything that's going on and stuff like that. And I've heard so many people that are like, oh, I lost thousands and so on and so forth, and it's just like it's gonna bounce back. It always does. Um, just keep watching the skies for those UFOs to come down and talk to us. I saw someone talking about that the aliens are about to start visiting. It's about to start visiting us. Not too long from now, and that's just like, bring them on. I've already seen their ships. I've already seen the UFOs, so bring on them. Let's see what they're all about, and let's go from there. But yes, if you are going to invest wisely, invest smartly. Do not come to me for advice on investment because I never really made any money off of investments. Um, they fluctuate. I listen to people that are like, "Oh, this stock's going to do really well, and it's gonna once it gets to a certain point, it's gonna blow up." I invest in it, and it sits there and sits there and sits there and nothing ever happens to it. And then, oh, this company's going bankrupt, but they're keeping open most of their stores, but they are going bankrupt and going to close down a ton of stores. It's like, oh, that's nice, that's cool, and I'm invested in them. Thanks, guys, thanks. So, don't come to me for stock advice. Go out there, do your own research, get your own programs that will help you decide what is best for your portfolio. Even when I had a portfolio with Walmart, it sucked because they kind of pick and choose. I mean, you can pick and choose what you want, but they kind of pick and choose for you. And they put this into the cash investment or cash stock, and then this into some other stocks and stuff like that. So, but yeah, don't come to me for investment advice. Come to me for motivational advice on artwork or movies or voiceover jobs or things of that nature, because I can steer you better on those. but but no, I am looking forward to working with this group again on some more voice acting gigs for some of their characters that they will have out there, and I've got to get with them again. I just finished up this segment because he sent me the wrong script, and he sent everybody the wrong script technically, um, and so everybody got the wrong verbiage for certain things and things like that. So he did resend out the script. I mean, I've had it for a little bit. I procrastinated on it because it's just like, man, I really don't want to do it again. But I went ahead and did it, got it done, and it sounds better. Get her done. And it sounds a lot better out there for the second round of voiceovers. Now, when I do it in two different ways. So I always send multiples um, of the lines that I have to speak on, and so he gets two of each line, just different influxes or different variations thereof, and so it's up to him to pick and choose which one he wants to go with, and you know that is all fine and dandy. So, and we look forward to it. I look forward to hearing my voice on a series of movies for Power Rangers. Power Rangers. But that's what it's about. It's a Power Ranger fan film, and my voice is lit to champ, and I'm looking forward to it to see what they do with it, see how they butcher it up for my voice, to see if they want to keep it metallic and tin sounding that I did. This isn't the voice I used, but you know, I have many voices. I do have many voices. I hear a lot of many voices in my head too. Just kidding. No, sometimes I do. Sometimes I hear them in my office. That's why I have this little handy dandy little recorder right here. Because my house is haunted, literally. If you don't believe in the spook, specters, and all that good stuff, I'm sorry. I do live in a haunted house, has poltergeist activity. All kinds of different activity happens here on a regular basis, and I don't mind it. We live with it hand in hand, and it's all good. We're copacetic like that. We get along. And for in the beginning, we didn't get along. It wouldn't let us sleep, for the most part, and it was kind of annoying. Bumps, bangs, things being thrown, you know, throughout the night. Sometimes during the daytime too. Oh, excuse me. And you know, but you just kind of ignore most of the stuff that goes on, and you leave it alone. It leaves you alone. I don't provoke it as much as I used to. Girlfriend got mad at me for that. You know, so I had to back off a little bit on the provoking side of things, and it's just like that would be me. I'd be the provoker at any ghost hunt. You know, just because that's my nature. Sometimes I provoke and poke that bear, poke that bear, poke it, poke it. That bear's not gonna get you. So, but no, it is what it is, and like I said, we've come to peace with it. We don't, and we get activity on a regular basis. Don't get me wrong, and it's just one of those things that if you ignore it, it kind of just settles down. It kind of dissipates just a little bit, right there, and you just live with it. You know, you don't let it scare you. You don't let it take your fear and negativity and amplify it. And so I'm looking at getting more ghost hunting equipment and things like that as well. Spirit boxes and things like that. That everybody says, oh, the spirit box isn't real because it's just taking the radio waves and CB radio waves and putting it through your box, through your spirit box, and giving you the words you want to hear. Those type things. It's just like that's not how a spirit box works. But you can't convince some people. You can't convince some people of certain things. They think they're right on everything. I know I'm not right on everything. I know been known to be wrong many a times. Even some of my own choices are wrong choices, but I do them anyway because they're right to me. Those type of things. And you just got to roll with them punches and move forward with life. But yeah, no, it's just one of them crazy little things. Crazy little thing called love. But yeah, no, it's if you want motivational advice from me for artwork or comic books or you know horror movies or sci-fi movies, this is the place to come. I will help you out as much as I can. Um, but no, voice acting is fun. It takes you from your humdrum life and projects you into a world of fantasy and imagination. But yeah, and that's what it's supposed to do. Just like movies are supposed to take you from a reality of your everyday humdrum life and catapult you into their world for just a brief moment, so that you forget about all the shit going on in your life. Sometimes, that's what a voice acting role does to you as well. You forget about the world because now you're enthralled. You are this character. You are this villain, or you are this hero, or you are this antagonist out there that doesn't give a shit about either side. You know, you just want to be left alone, and it catapults you into that realm of being that everything melts away. All the stressors of life, all the negativeness just melts away as you watch this this movie, as you become enthralled in this movie. I mean, you get people crying over movies. You get people scared over movies. Um, Books can lead the same way, can do the same thing. Um, uh, the the dark romances that every female is reading on the planet right now. H.D. Carlton, with her Run Rabbit, Run Little Rabbit, and her books, Hunting Adeline, Haunting Adeline. Um, those books she's got, and then there's tons and tons of others. I once ate a book, but it didn't taste good. I don't recommend it. We have questions, Luke. We have questions. Why would you eat a book? Was it like War and Peace? I mean, were you that hungry, or you know? I mean, we have questions. I've eaten paper before to get rid of evidence back in the day because you used to send notes in school and shit like that. And you didn't want that thing falling on the floor, those type of things. So you would eat paper, and it's wood pulp, so it's all good. Cleans out your system. But yeah, no, I wouldn't recommend eating a book either. You see people try to do it in movies all the time, and then they end up, hurting later. But no, we have questions, Luke. Um, Please explain. Please enlighten us. We want to know more. We are now intrigued into your life of eating books. Um, but no, please do not eat books out there. The chemicals they put on them nowadays isn't good for your system. Period. And it's just like the chemicals they put in a lot of things aren't good for your system, but we eat it anyway. Um, but yeah, just like I wouldn't recommend eating a sports card either. A football card or a baseball card or anything like that. I wouldn't even recommend eating this rag. You know, that I use for my paintbrushes and things. Because I mean, I know acrylic paint is safe for you now, for the most part, and it's not like the lead-based paints we used to paint our houses with as children. That the parents, oh, this has lead in it. This is awesome. Let's put it in our system. Oh, I got it on my hand. Oh, now I got it on my face. And so yeah, we just lived around lead paint as children. So we couldn't be probed by aliens back then. All that lead paint around your house, and then the tinfoil windows. So people that did get abducted back in those days, I guess they didn't have lead based paints. I guess they used the asbestos siding and things like that. I'm kidding. Lead does nothing. It's the aluminum foil that stops the alien from probing your mind if you put the tinfoil hat on. So, do you believe in aliens? Do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in Bigfoot? Do you believe in any of the cryptids? If you don't know what a cryptid is, go look it up. Bigfoots, Loch Ness Monster, Yetis, uh, Sasquatch, all that good stuff. Bigfoot and Sasquatch are the same, so don't go there. You know, it's just like there's so many people that don't believe in any of that stuff that they're like it's all fake. I can debunk it real easy and yada yada yada. So, but yes, those are the things. Those are the things that broaden your mind, if you will. I mean, unlike Luke here, I don't know if he was trying to absorb the knowledge in the book by eating it, but I would definitely not recommend it that way. Osmosis doesn't work either. That means basically sleeping on top of the book and trying to learn the stuff inside that book. That doesn't work. You physically got to read that book, for that information to glean, if you will, into your mind. You might not retain everything that is in the book, but you can retain quite a bit of things um, by reading or having it read to you. because they have all those new little apps that will read for you. Um, I'm a visual and audio and everything learner. When it comes to it. Excuse me. I read it, I hear it, and then I watch it. You That's what movies are for, based off of books. J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, all those trilogies. And they still leave stuff out. Because there's only so much you can put into a movie. Even if you filmed it all at the same time and then you put it in post production, and it still takes years for it to come out, you know. And then those people that want to go sit at the movie theater and watch this unedited version for 16 hours at a movie theater or whatever it was, to watch all three films. And then why not just do it this way? Start with The Hobbit, do the trilogy of it at the movie theater, and then roll straight into Lord of the Rings trilogy right there, and put all those movies back to back, and you would be there for over 24 hours just watching these movies, with intermissions in between, so you can go to the bathroom, get some more popcorn, those type of things. But that would be kind of nuts, wouldn't it? To spend over a day watching all six films back to back to back to back to back to back. Hopefully you're single, because if not, you will be by the end of that. Um, and your wife might have left you, or your husband might have left you at that point in time, because oh, you're not coming back. You're not coming to the house for over 24 hours, almost 30 hours. You're going to be gone from me, just to go watch a movie with a bunch of other people. But some people would do it in a heartbeat, you know, and that's a sad state of society right there. Is that people choose certain things over their own loved ones, if you will, and it's just like, what's wrong with society today? And but if you want motivation, like I said, come here. We will help you get motivated to move on to that next level. It's like, you want to be a voice actor. Surround yourself with those voice actors. Go find your voice actors that you like. Add them on Facebook. Follow them on Facebook. Don't stalk them. There's a difference. Find them on Instagram. They will talk about their next gigs. They will talk about their stuff that they want to do. And if you want to be in a area of your life, say you want to be a car mechanic, say you want to be in your own car mechanic, not just a car mechanic working for a company. You want Joe Schmo's Auto Body, Auto Center, yours out there. Surround yourself with those people that do that type of work. And I'm talking about the big name people, not just your not just your average local shop like Take Five or Ben Grizzles or Jody's, or these are local places here. Um, Surround yourself with people that do it big time. Okay, because why do you want to be at this level when they're at this level, and then you can be somewhere in here if you surround yourself with these people up here? It's just like the whole book Think and Be Rich, or Rich Dad Poor Dad. Um, so many books out there that tell you how to become wealthy, or how to maintain your wealth, or those type of things. Do any of us read those books? Some of us do. Most of us don't. because we try to figure it out ourselves. I'm building my empire a little piece at a time. And the way I've built it now, I'm doing acting, voice acting. I am working with a movie producer on a comic book for a horror western. Can you react to something I made on stream? Please send it to me. Send it to me, man or girl. I don't know which. Go to my website up there. You can send me an email. You can also go to my socials up there: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You're here you're here on TikTok, but YouTube as well. Just send me what you got. I'll check it out. I'll give you my honest opinion, because that's what I do. Like the honest reviews of the Antarctic Press titles. I don't know. I think you can send a link here. You can go ahead and send it here. That's fine. We'll see if I can get it. If I can't, just send me a message first, and then send the link, and then we'll go from there. And then yeah. So just like the Antarctic Press titles, I give honest reviews of things out there. So you know, and if you are a stream creator, then please, by all means, send me the link, and I will go check it out and give you an honest review of what I feel. Um, because that's what I do. And like I said, I'm building my empire little by little, and now I'm working with a movie producer about a comic book. I'm working with another guy who's got his own clothing line, and I'm doing logos for him, and it's leading into a book deal with him. Um, I've got to get my pitch out to Patrick, and I'm sorry for that. I haven't done it yet. On a essay topic for a book that he's producing that is filled with um, scholars and doctorates, and not doctors, but doctorates that have books already published in the world. And you know, I am I'm a published artist. I've got two comic books out there in the world, two professional comic books. My first one was Psycho Sal with William Russell, and then my second one is The Job #3, and both of my covers have been the third issue. I'm waiting to get that #1 slot, you know. But hey, you start somewhere, and 3 issues in isn't horrible to be on the cover of a comic book. So, but I'm trying to pronounce your name here, Verquita. Just go ahead and send me that stuff, and I'll check it out here in a little bit. But that is it, people. I'm going to kill it for today. I do appreciate each and every one of you being here, checking out the channel. And Verkita. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hate to butcher people's names, and I do it all the time. So I apologize if I did. Verkita. Got it. I could try. I can try and stream my reaction to it. I just got to check it out, see what it's about, and I will go from there. And I might even talk about it on the next show, which is the 12th, Monday. So no big deal, right there. So that's probably where I'll talk about it, Verkita, and we'll go from there. But again, I appreciate each and everybody being here. Please like, share, and follow. And if you have any questions about voice acting or comic books or things like that, please hit me up in DMs, or just like here, got a streamer here with Verkita, and we will go check out what their stream is about. But much appreciated. I am not always chill, but I try to be, especially for my live shows. Um, because like I said, here we talk about everything. We talk about movies, especially horror or sci-fi. We talk about comic books. We talk about my artwork. We talk about other people's artwork. We talk about ghosts, goblins, spooks, specters. We talk about streaming channels. We talk about, I do that. Like I said, I do cover or reactions to honest opinions to Antarctic Press titles. on a regular basis. So I do appreciate it. And, I follow back as well. So there you have that. But again, I appreciate each and every one of you being here, stopping in, checking out the channel for as long as you have. Some people were only a few minutes or less than that. But then some people have stayed till the end. And I do truly appreciate that. You are my people. and no, you really are. And for those that stick around and listen to my voice for 30, 40, 1 hour, and then I have to do this stupid little puzzle that TikTok likes us to do when we're on for an hour or more, just to make sure that we're a real person, you know. But I do appreciate each and every one of you being here, and as I like to say, as I leave you, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.